Hi everybody. Welcome to Quarter Inch Seam. You're in my sewing room. I'm Angela. We are going to talk, sorry. We're going to talk a little bit. I did another video today on, it's too dark in here. Hang on one second. I just realized we need some more light. It's actually a little bit sunny this afternoon. We thought we were going to get another torrential rainstorm, but we didn't. And so on the butterfly quilt, on the petals quilt, the vintage daisy quilt from Missouri Star that we're working on. Where did my block go? Here it is. This one. I did a little short video, or a reel, short, whatever. Because somebody had left a comment about doing the circles in different colors. And I agree with that. And I kind of discovered that on my first one. And the one thing I'll say about changing out the centers is that's another reason to do circles and petals on all of your 10-inch squares. Because it totally gives you variety. It gives you a lot of variety. To kind of mix up the petals, the circles. So I am going to encourage you again, Mother said, to do, when you do not to just do 16 of the circles, because you only need 16 circles, to do 32 circles, and it just gives you way more variety. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to do a little bit of work right now on the butterflies quilt. That's what I'm going to work on this afternoon, just for a little bit. Oh, and like, I laughed about it. Like 5 people, I think, at least, made comments about about how I drew on my background squares to find the center. And everybody was like, why don't you just fold it and finger press it and then you'll have the center and you have to draw on your fabric and it's faster. I know. I didn't think of that. Why did I think of that? I have no idea. Because I like to make things far more difficult on myself. That's what I like. So, yeah. So on your background squares, first of all, I didn't press these really well. So we'll press this one out. But I'm not going to work on this quilt right now. I'm going to work on the butterflies. And a huge shout out. I don't have it in front of me. I'll have to give her a shout out tomorrow. Somebody did the actual butterflies garden quilt, almost exactly the same way as it was in the original pictures. Oh my gosh, it was so cool. They put on the Facebook page. Don't forget to post your pictures of the stuff that you finished or that you're working on, or if you have questions or you just want to pop in on the Facebook page, Quarter Inch Seam. Okay. So, first off, I keep forgetting to bring a water bottle in here with some water. So just take your big square, your 16-inch square, your background square, and fold it in half, right? You could probably use or just your fingers. And then do it again. And there, now you have the center. And you didn't have to draw on your fabric. Who knew? Right? Who knew? Holy cow. Okay, so it's a lot faster than trying to measure it out and all that blah, 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 blah. Okay. there's that. I have to take off the sashing that we did on this one because we did it upside down. Of course we did. It would have been too easy just to put it on there the right way. Or to pay slightly closer attention. Where is my seam ripper? I have two of them. Oh. I tell you what, I spend more time looking for stuff. Ah, here we go. Okay. All right, so we're gonna get this off of here, and then, so I'm not really teaching much today. You're just kind of watching me. I mean, that's why I'm never really teaching anything. Come on, Angela. Come on, be serious. So what did you do today? Did you have a nice afternoon? Holy cow. Phone has been on meltdown today. All day. Steve's out mowing. Yeah. Got a little bit of a late start this morning. Yesterday was a long one. And then that storm and... And then went to the grocery store. That took way longer because it always does than you ever anticipate. So we did that. And then today I had a bunch of clients and stuff to get handled. And now it's done. I don't know where Minnie is. Thank you for all the sweet comments about Minnie. She was the hit of the show yesterday, but she wasn't impressed. And I do hate that it's just so... gosh, it just a bunch of you left comments about your dogs and how, you know, the thunder or the fireworks or whatever just sends them into a tizzy. Oy. This was the other thing I was going to tell you guys. I'm going to give it another try today. With just doing the petals stuff right onto the 10-inch square without the heat and bond and stuff. My problem is I really do like the heat and bond, although I like the heat and bond a large part for when I'm cutting the stuff out. It just seems to give it a lot of like stability, you know, when you're doing that. But this Heat and Bond Ultra that I got, the one thing I don't know what I was thinking when I got it. I think I was just thinking that it was going to stick better, but I hadn't really thought about the, you know, the implications of it being so much stiffer, if that makes sense. So that was one thing that I hadn't really thought all the way out. My thumb is really bothering me today. We were going to take a little drive today. We did not. because it looked like it was going to actually absolutely pour. And as is typical in Florida, it all just blew itself out of town. And now it's just lovely blue skies. Can't beat it. Cannot beat it. Okay. Oh, I don't know why I'm saying okay, because we're not even close. Not even close. Okay. Although I need a glue stick. I was just thinking I was gonna think out loud, but it just stayed in my head. My issue with the petals and not using the heat and bond is also that, you know, when you go to sew them down or heat, you know, stick them down so that you can then stitch around them and get everything kind of laid out, is that heat and bond gives it a nice kind of tackiness. Because you got a lot of moving parts, it feels like. I mean, not a lot, but, you know, there's multiple moving pieces there. But on the butterfly, my concern with the butterfly is this, is that the hand is going to be really, you know, it's going to be stiff. I mean, they're not crazy stiff, but I don't know. I hope I didn't. Oh my God. Is anybody like me that when you look at something that you've had to rip, you know, seam rip? Where did I put it now? Where you've had to seam rip it, that it looks like a massacre. Oh, it's so scary. Because I'm always concerned it's not going to go back together really well, you know, because now I have all these. It's nerve-wracking. But these little squares weren't really, I wasn't really feeling them. So I really, just because they have the heat and bond on them, but we're not sticking them to anything, and so it's making it really weird to try and sew with them like that. And so what I really wanted to do was just to have the sashing with these little 2.5-inch squares, because that's what we're using in the center, and not have it with the heat and bond. But that means more ripping. Ay. Okay. Okay, and okay, all right. Oh, and there's a special announcement. You're gonna want to make sure that you've subscribed to the channel, and that you you know, share the channel out, because there is some exciting news coming. Maybe next week or so. We're going to. Oh, hey! I don't have to take the last one out. Save myself a little work there. Okay. Okay, so now let's get some, we're gonna take, oh, we already started one. Okay, so we need a total of 12 of the 2.5 inch squares. We've already got two or one that will work. And I don't think I can separate this one. No, okay. So we need 11. Okay, 2.5 inch squares. All right. This is 3. Okay, so 1, 2.5. Okay. 1, 2.5. Yeah. And 2.5. Okay, now I think what we'll do is get us a couple of these, and then 1, 2.5. Can I see that? 1, 2.5. Okay, so this will get us at least down the road. All right, so okay, this, and now this. Okay, let's go to the sewing room. The sewing machine. Let's sew this on. Okay. All right, so now we've got 2 on, and then, right? So that goes, oh. So we're gonna fix the sashing, and then get another butterfly or so together. Let's get another square. Okay. 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 That one's going to go attached to this. Oh my goodness. That one's going to attach to this, so I don't need that. I need this one here. Okay. 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 Now, That's good. That's good. That's good. Let's get you on here, and then we can put it back on the first row of butterflies. So, tell me what you're working on. Are you doing the butterflies quilt? Are you doing something fun for 4th of July? We found there's always a lot of stuff going on around here. I mean, there's multiple, in the county that we live in, there's multiple small towns that kind of come together. So obviously that's what makes up a county. Small towns. Towns, and then you have a county. Anyway, so one of the little towns near us is doing a and it's a town that we like, and it's not super big, you know, so you don't get, sometimes you go to these big town things and they're just too much. Okay, so now let's get this one on here. Let's get this one on here. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, gosh. Do you ever find that when you mess something up, the putting it back together or fixing it sometimes is almost worse than just starting over? I mean, not that this is worse than starting over, but you know, now you're paranoid about how to put stuff back, and okay. Okay, now, whoops. Okay, snip that. All right, now we've got everything going in the right direction, and we're just going to sew it back on, okay? Okay. Now we'll have dealt with the issue of at least the 2.5-inch square cornerstones being too stiff. They were really stiff. And now we'll have this back on, and it will be going in the right direction so that we can hopefully carry on with the quilt. Okay. Get this back on here. And let's just give it a really quick little press. Okay, there. Okay, here we go. Alrighty. There are little seams nested there. And there. Get you lined up. Okay, everybody's happy. Here we go. Oops. What did I do? Okay. Okie dokie. Okay, let's make sure we get the next one all nested there. Yahoo! I will actually actually feel like I'm making some headway on this project. Like it's okay. We got everything. We got all the kinks worked out. We know what we're doing now. And for those of you that are new, if you've been here for a while, you already know this. This is the Butterfly Garden Quilt by, wow. Okay. I'm going to have to tell you in words what just happened. I was talking to you about what quilt pattern this is. This is the butterflies pattern, and we have lots of new followers, and so I wanted them to know what I'm talking about with this quilt. This is the Butterfly Garden Quilt by Calf Fawcett. It's an older project, but Butterfly Garden Quilt. Okay, you'll find it. Okay, so I was sewing along, and I was saying that about the quilt pattern, and I was thinking about something else that I wanted to tell you. Okay, so my brain was going in 2 or 3 different directions, and I looked down, and all of a sudden I could see the 1/4 inch mark. I could very plainly see it. And at first my brain was like, well, that's interesting. When we're sewing, we're not actually usually looking at the 1/4 inch mark because the fabric's on it. And then the other side of my brain was like, yeah, that is weird. Usually we're not looking at it. Usually she's sewing over it. And what I had done was I had sewn, you can't see it on this fabric, it's way too light. There's no way you'll be able to see it. I had literally sewn right off of the quilt. Literally 15 seconds after talking about how excited I was because I felt like I was kind of just finally getting my you-know-what together on this project. You think that I have people that write this stuff. I don't. It's just me. Just a day in the life. Okay, so let's put the foot down. And now, Angela, let's try and stay on the 1/4 inch mark. Let's just try and sew down the mark. It's a good mark. Let's just follow the mark. Holy cow. I don't even know what I was thinking. You should see this line. I think most of that comes from just too much on my mind lately. Too much on my mind, and then forgetting things. You know, because I have so many things I'm trying to remember, oh, make a list. Make a list. Okay. I got about 80 lists going right now. And, just too much to focus on right now, I think. That's how it feels. But whatever. It's not an excuse to mess up your quilt. Being overwhelmed does not mean that we should destroy a good quilt. Okay. Is it cute? It's cute. And you're not going to believe this. Even after all that mumbo jumbo, all my points are lined up. Yahoo! Oh, not this one. Well, 2 out of 3 isn't bad. This one's not quite lined up. Whatever. Okay. Let's, God, there's so much loose. Okay, that's the only thing I'll say is that the background fabric on this one is basically like a linen fabric. It's very, very light. Gosh, it's not a muslin, but I mean, it's just super light and very, like linen-y. Textured like linen. And the only real problem is that the ends of it, the edges of it, just fray like you would not believe. So in that regard, you kind of have to too many things not working out quite the right way today. Yeah. So I'll have to iron that in a second. But that's the first row. First row with sashing. Okay, now I think what I should like to do is I think I'm going to get the next. Okay, I need to do these two. So I'm going to finish sewing at least these last two butterflies, right? You know, the stitch around, the applique stitch, so that I can finish the second row. And then tomorrow, I'm hoping that I've got to get my hands on some, I think some heat and bond light and a glue stick, so I can kind of play with it both ways. And I think we're going to do that tomorrow and Sunday, is kind of just play with the petals quilt and figure out which way. There's this piece of hair that just is driving me nuts. Which way is going to ultimately work out really the best, because I like the idea of just cutting it out and using the glue stick and being done, but the fabric is so flimsy in your hand. Like when I'm cutting out the butterflies, I don't know, it's just much easier to cut it out, you know, because you've got that stability of the paper there. So maybe that's just in my head. There's a lot of things in my head that just live rent-free. Anyway, I'm glad you stopped by. Thanks for coming by this afternoon. I don't think I have anything fun planned except for just sewing in my sewing room. I'm so glad you came by. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And remember, we're doing some things in July with some people from some other channels that's going to be so much fun. I just let part of the cat out of the bag. It's going to be so cool. And it involves something in this room. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic evening. I hope you have a fabulous morning. I hope you have a good night's sleep. And please remember, just please remember this one thing. Only a 1/4 inch seam. I love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye.